Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I've not done a video with the van for quite some time, but today's the day guys, because I need to start fitting a diesel heater. Me and Connie were out in the van just the other day there, went down to the local beach, or local-ish beach, up at King's Barns, and well, we're sitting in the van. We'd gone for a little dog walk, ramble and stuff, and we get back in the van, and we're sitting watching the telly, a wee cup of tea, and it was absolutely freezing. And I thought, you know, I've got this diesel heater sitting in a box, I've never ever got around to fitting it, and we're planning on going away camping in a couple of weeks time. Let's get this heater fitted, make it more comfortable for everybody involved. So the hardest part there was trying to get everything out of the van that's going to be in the way. So as you can see in the background there, I've got the top off what we use as the bed. It's just a basic bed, it's just a frame with the lid is kind of leafed and it just sort of flaps over, and then we'll put the mattress down on there. It works fine, it does us well, but whenever you're trying to do anything on this side of the van, you have to just unscrew all the top off. It doesn't allow for much access while it's in position. So yeah, we've got that all stripped, and as you can see, I've already started putting through the wires. Right, so I'm just going to give a little bit of an explanation of what I'm doing here and what the actual plan is. Now I know with diesel heaters, a lot of people will have them sort of wired in sort of for the fuel into their actual fuel tank. I don't want to do that. I'm not capable enough to drop the fuel tank and get in at the top of it and add the fuel line in there. So what I'm going to do is just use an external tank which is going at the back section of the bed here. I'm going to wait to flip the camera around and let you see what the plan is. So as you can see with the unpainted sections there on the timber, this bed has had a few revisions, as you can see with that and that down there, but I'm kind of happy with the way the frame is. It does seem a bit loose at the moment, but that's just because it's actually only attached to the floor and there's nothing at the top bracing it to the wall. But the plan actually is for today is, as you can see, I've made a start. So I've terminated the ends. I've not got my heat gun to shrink this shrink wrap on it. So obviously the cables will all be undone from the switches and everything when they're getting mounted, and then I'll heat shrink the actual shrink wrap, just to make it look a wee bit more professional and tidy. So all the ends are already terminated, and I've lifted the floor tiles up, damaged a couple of them as you can see, but I'm not too fussed about that. It's just a case of getting power to this back end of this side of the van. This panel here, just on there, so we've got like the floor tiles and stuff on that. That whole panel is going to be removed, and I'm going to have my switch gear and stuff on there, so I'm going to have some extra lighting around the facing of the bed and stuff like that, but there's also going to be, and I think this is key, an isolation switch. As you can see there, I've got an isolation switch and I've made up the end suitable to fit into that. So that's going to be fitted in because the diesel heater which is going in the floor there, the diesel heater, I'm a bit concerned about having a diesel heater. If something goes wrong, I want to be able to just kill the power to the thing. So that's why this isolation switch is going in. The only other thing that's going to be connected into it, I think, will be lighting. And that's about it. There is an LCD display which will show the power going to that side, but we also have that up there as well, so it's not really important. However, when this panel is removed and we put a thicker panel on, for fitting things to, because I don't think this has really got the depth to screw things into. I want something a wee bit more substantial. I'm also going to put a back on here. Sorry, I'll just there. I'm going to put a back on here and separate both sides of the bed, so that the forward side now will be for housing the bedding and stuff, and this place right at the back, it's just going to be for the diesel heater. And when the bed's all made up and it's got a lid on, I can still access through this back door here and get into the diesel heater for any servicing required. Right, so been cracking on with this behind the scenes. I don't remember what last part I filmed, but certainly I've lifted all the floor tiles, and I've put in an isolation switch and I've terminated the ends. I'll just move the camera here and let you see what I've been doing. So this is the ends, this is how they are. They're coming through the cabinet just like that. The first cut was a disaster because I didn't realise that you had to cut through from both sides or it would tear through the back because of the type of wood. So that was a learning curve, and obviously I've rectified that on the second cut. I could tidy it up, but nobody's going to see it anyway. So for all you that are cutting through this compressed MDF type stuff, make sure that you're cutting through both sides so that it doesn't sort of blow out. So the isolation switch is just there, tucked in the corner. I wanted to be able to access this, like I said earlier. So the next thing I need to do is I've terminated the ends at the battery side of things that are underneath the 3-seater in the rear of the vehicle. So I'm going to run the wires into the battery, put the termination switch on to light off, and then I'm going to wire up a couple of bus bars and run everything off the bus bars. Right, so this is the bus bars that we're using here, and they basically sit in flush inside the cabinet here, just like this. So they'll sit like that. Obviously there's the red and the black for both different sides of the cabling. This is the black one here, and the way they work is the wee cover comes off, and that's just held in with a couple of plastic sort of grommets just to cover all the wires up, make it nice and tidy. So we'll mount that onto the wood, and then where the wires are coming through, we'll just again do these like little holes, probably smaller because the gauge of the wire is going to be a little narrower, and you don't want the hole to be too big. So yeah, we'll just we'll move on with that, get that in position, and see if we can put some switches in. Right, so still loads to do, and a lot of cleaning is going to be required once I'm finished today. But that's the bus bars in, and it's just a case of connecting everything up to them. Obviously, I did say I was going to connect up to the batteries at the front, but I've not done that yet. I'm just going to concentrate on this back piece. Once everything's in, then I'll put the switch into the off position, connect up the battery, come round here, put it to on, and see everything light up, hopefully. Right, so the next stage of this project is this strip of LED sort of lighting here, and what I'm doing is I'm just coming through the positive hole here, the one just at the isolation switch, and I'm going to run it pretty much around the edge of this whole bit, and then back through again, and the wires will just come through, connect in to the terminals, and then again through there and connect into the terminal. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure, since I'm going to have to put this through a switch, but I'll not terminate the end just now, but I'll fit it, and I'll have to head somewhere else because I've got my switches at another location. So yeah, once the switches are in, I'll get it into a switch, but this one end that comes in will have to go through there, and then hopefully it looks good. But the idea is to have like a clear cover on this. Obviously you don't want that to be bare and open, because that's obviously, it's going to be live once everything's switched on. So the plan is just to have like a clear sort of perspex or Lexan cover over the top of this. I will have to get some touch-up paint, cover this up, try and tidy it up a wee bit, but yeah, that's the plan going forward. I cannot believe what a mess I'm making. So I was going to cut out circles, and that is just so that the switches can sort of poke through, but what I've decided, it's too much hassle. I'm just going to jigsaw the whole section out, and I'll leave the circle for the switch because that's already cut. Whoop. leave that circle at the end there, that's for the switch, that's already cut. But the rest of it, I'll just cut it enough for the template. Obviously the metal cover goes over the front of that anyway, so yeah, it makes it easier. Right, so that's the hole cut out. It's no nice, but like I say, it gets all covered up anyway. All the switches will be in there. Right, so that's my bus bars then, my isolation switch, and then my switch gear. Obviously that's at the other side because this is getting covered. Right, so where we're at just now, guys, is we've got the switch gear all set up. We've got the isolation switch, so we'll pop that on and we'll get power to the system. And then we've got it joined together just now, just to let you see that it all works. And that's the lighting system there. So obviously it's still got to be buttoned up and a couple of proper connections done instead of twisted wires, just to see that the power's going. So I need to get some spade connectors, put that together properly. We'll tidy up the wiring at the back, get some cable connectors that I can screw into the ply, and then we'll take it further forward with that. Right guys, so as you just saw there, I didn't quite get as far as I thought I would this weekend. I've had other stuff going on in between filming this, but at least I've got power going there. I've got my switches all ready to go. I'm just going to pop them into the framework there, screw them into place, and for now though, I'm just going to call this video a day, and I'll continue again with it next weekend, and we'll get the diesel heater fitted on the next part. But thanks for watching, I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.